Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Chris's Collectible Corner, and for those of you who are new, thank you for coming through to tune in for this review. And today, we're shifting away from Tamashii Nations into the world of Threezero as I review their DLX Iron Man Mark 85. But before we get into the figure itself, if you wouldn't mind, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification to be notified when new reviews are uploaded to the channel. It really helps and I appreciate the support. Now I just want to say, I'm still going to be reviewing Dragon Ball figures and Tamashii Nation figures on this channel, but I felt now was an appropriate time to expand my reviews and also show you guys some of the other figures and lines that I collect. But personally, Threezero is my favorite toy company, hands down. I believe they offer the best products at a super competitive price. I don't think any other company even comes close, but this is just from my personal experience. So, that all aside, taking a look at the packaging, as you can see from the back, we have all the warnings and legal information in multiple languages. I'm not going to bore you guys with reading all that stuff. Along the side, we have some holographic circuitry, as well as the Iron Man logo and the number version of this suit, as well as a Threezero official sticker. And as you can see on the front here on the box, we have the design, which is pretty busy, but we have the Mark 85 right here in the front. There's gold foil metallic frame surrounding the image. It has the Avengers logo right at the bottom, as well as the Infinity Saga in the upper left hand corner, just indicating what saga of the Marvel Universe this was taking place in. Then we also have a little flap held by Velcro in the front, so if you open it, you can see there's some images of the Mark 85 all souped up, as well as a little window right there we can actually see the figure inside the packaging. So for you inbox collectors, if you want to display them in the box, you can have them just like that and still be able to see the figure. Alright, so here we have the DLX Mark 85 Iron Man suit standing straight up and down from head to toe. He stands at about 7 inches in height. And I just have to say, Threezero has done it again. I'm loving the silhouette, the proportions, and the color on this figure. I originally wasn't the biggest fan of this suit, but after seeing the movie a couple more times and now having this figure in hand, I have no regrets. It also resembles a more comic accurate version of the original Iron Man suit, but of course realized for the silver screen. In my opinion, Threezero excels at 3 things: engineering, aka the articulation, proportions, and the paint finish. And all 3 of these things are present in this figure. The paintwork has a beautiful shine to it, and I love the satin paint applications they went for with this figure when it comes to the red. The lighter gold has a bit of a champagne color to it, as well as the gunmetal that's throughout the figure. And the paintwork on this thing is immaculate as always when it comes to Threezero. I'm not sure if the camera is picking this up, but as the light reflects off of the red, depending on the lighting and the angle that you're looking at it, you're gonna get a different color variation of red with hints of orange in it, kind of like when you're looking at a car that's freshly painted or just washed. Other companies can learn a lot from Threezero, especially for the price point that they offer these figures. It still blows my mind to this day. These figures are top quality and yet still affordable by conventional figure standard prices when you start going into the high-end brands. Taking a closer look at the details, as you can see, the paintwork is flawless, nice and tidy. There's no paint spillage into areas that it shouldn't be in, and as far as like the proportions and the details, everything is nice, tight, streamlined, and I can't wait to show you guys more of the hidden features that this guy has once we get into articulation. But as far as the details that you can see on the boot, everything is just perfectly lined up. And I don't like to use the word perfect a lot because nothing is perfect, but you can just tell from the sculpting that everything just kind of falls in place perfectly to be able to move exactly how they want this figure to. Looking at the upper body, this looks like a 1-to-1 recreation of the actual suit from the movie Avengers Endgame. And once again, I hate to harp on it again, but I just love the details. How the gunmetal silver parts swirl and interconnect throughout the suit. The smaller arc reactors that he has all along his torso, as you can see there on the abs, as well as the back. And then you'll also see on the front shoulder plates. Now this guy has LED light features, which I'll show you guys later in the video, and I'll turn them on because you need batteries for it. But the ones on the torso itself, they're painted with a kind of blue where it looks like they're already lit up. I would say the only thing that bothers me, but I don't really see it as much of a mistake, maybe it'll help with the articulation, it's just a little gap under the chest when you see it from a profile view. I wish it was a bit more flush, but I'm sure there was a reason for Threezero doing that, so this way it probably has enhanced articulation when you're trying to bend him forward. But once again, everything looks nice and tidy. The helmet, I also like the silver pieces going behind the helmet. It kind of makes me think of, like, you know, when you get older you start getting gray hairs, and this is obviously later into the film, so Tony is a bit more wiser and more vetted as a superhero. But now let's take a look at the articulation. Alright, so to truly appreciate these figures and what Threezero does with these things, I'm going to show you guys the articulation and the engineering that goes into these things, because a lot of the joints and the hidden features are not like visible that you can see on the surface. They hide them so well. I mean, obviously the elbow joints you could see, but I'm going to show you some of the other stuff that they do and the engineering they do in these things that is just mind-blowing, which is why, once again, I love this company. This is my favorite toy company. You're going to hear me saying that a lot, but I think these guys are the best. Alright, so with that aside, let's get into this. So, looking at the shoulders, you can move these, but they have the shoulders on these hinges, as you can see, which allows for more range and mobility. So this way you can move the shoulder all the way up and it doesn't get in the way. I mean, it's great, like how they do that. Then there's a little butterfly joint right here that's hidden. You can see a little joint right there. So if you pull it back, it comes out, allows for more articulation. It's not much, but you know what, the fact that it's there, I appreciate. Alright, so now moving the shoulder up, we have bicep rotation, and the joints are all reinforced with die cast, so they're sturdy. You don't have to worry about these breaking at all unless you're really reckless. Alright, and then for the elbow, we have double jointed elbows. Look at that. Great articulation. And what I love is, like, when you bend it, more of the hidden detail comes out to show more of the armor, and the elbow moves with it. Boom, so there we go. Let's rotate that back, bring that down, and then you see you can move the shoulder with the hinge back in place, and look at that, seamless. It's like you wouldn't even know that it was there. Same thing with this arm right here. You could do the same. See, the hinge comes all the way down, so there's plenty of room for it to move around, and you can get his arms up past 90 degrees. Same thing here, double jointed elbow, rotation at the shoulder, but then also bicep swivel, also shoulder rotation. I didn't show that on the other side. There you go. And then you just put it back down, boom, push it back up, set that back, and you're good to go. Now the wrist joints are a little limited, but I would say that's because of the design, because the gauntlets and whatnot, so you can't really move them up unless you get them on a certain area on his wrist, which is more of an opening, which is unfortunate, but these are just on a simple ball peg. Now, one of the articulations that they do that I love that Threezero does of all their figures, from the DLX all the way to the MDLX, which are the Transformers ones, the ab crunches. Look at this. Back looks seamless, right? You don't really see anything. Looks like, okay, cool. Well, let's bend him forward. Look at this. Look at that ab crunch. Beautiful. And what makes it even better, because alright, we'll bring it back up, right? Look at it from the back. I'm gonna bend it forward. Look at all the extra detail that gets shown as you bend them forward. The added information, the added detail and paint work that they put there. I mean, again, come on, like Threezero is killing it with this. Just look at all the extra detail that you're seeing. Paint work, stuff that you wouldn't see. So when you stand them back up, look, boom. The layers all compress on top of each other, and boom, seamless. I'm telling you, these guys are freaking amazing. All right, and then, you know, the head is on a ball joint, so he can look up. Not as far as I would like. I think he could move up. I would hope that they could make him look up a little bit more, but I get it starts by the back of the helmet. So this one, you have it in flight poses, he can look kind of straight, but he can look down a good amount. Tilt, side to side. Look left to right. He can't go all the way 360 because of the shape of the neck, but that's fine. Alright, do we have waist rotation? We don't have waist rotation, but we have it at the chest, so we can move him side to side. So if you want to have like walking pose and everything, fine. Now for the legs. The legs, man, what they do with the legs, I love. Watch this. So let me get these arms out of the way. Alright, so first with the legs, right? We have a good knee bend, it goes all the way back, and as you see, more details revealed, and then he moves with it. Now, as you'll see, the legs, they can kick up, but they stop, right? And you're gonna hit the waistband right here. So what they did, as you see, this kind of spoiler popped out a little bit, you can pop this thing out right here, move it down, so this way he can kick. And even if that's not enough, because you're like, all right, well, it doesn't go straight, you can drop down the thigh. You pull down on it. Look at that. And then you can kick all the way. So this way, you don't have to worry about any of the pieces hitting one another or the paint rub. And yes, it looks weird when you have it like that, but you can kind of finagle it. And then when he's in a pose, it doesn't really matter. But the fact that they added that engineering, I love it. It shows that they're really thinking about the figure all the way through, so you can get him the poses and also just moving around playing with him, so this way it's not going to be a hassle and he isn't too stiff. Same thing with here, so all you gotta do is just you pull him up a little bit, get your fingernail in between there, pull it up. You see he has a little hinge right there. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. See? Alright. And then the thigh, same thing here. You pull it down. That's exposed, and boom, he can move. Look at that. He can kick to the side. That's as far as he can go because the side piece hits right into the waist. But that's fine. I don't need my Iron Man to do splits. And then you could just pop it right back in and it's seamless. But even if you bring the legs down, like the thighs, look at this. You can actually make him taller. And it doesn't actually mess up the silhouette. Look at the aesthetics. Like, it doesn't look like crazy. It still doesn't look bad. That's something else they also did that I love. Like, they really thought this through. And then lastly, we're gonna go with the ankles. The ankles on this model are a little bit limited because of the design and the boot cut. So we can only go up very slightly, not really much at all. Down a little bit. We have the toe bend and slight articulation to the side. But overall, I think this guy's great. Just the engineering that they implement in these things, this way you could move him and the way that it's hidden so it doesn't ruin the overall look of the figure, I think is great. So yeah, that's his articulation. I just wanted to show you guys that so you can appreciate more the details that are kind of going on underneath the surface that isn't like always visible, like just on the surface. Alright, now taking a look at the accessories, this guy is packed to the gills when it comes to that. He comes with 4 different sets of hands, some shooting and flying effects, the energy blades, the claw blasters, this is what it's actually called in the product manual, and then he also has the lightning refocuser, which is that big thing on his back, as well as his action stand. So taking a look at the hands, the first set of hands that he has are open palms, and here you can see very nice detail. We have the arc reactors that you can see right in the palm, and this is really nice. This is perfect for Tony when he's having blast effects or he's getting ready to blast someone or threatening somebody. Then we have another pair of those blast hands, but that has a peg, so this way you can put the shooting effects and peg it right in there. They kind of look like when he's shooting a repulsor blast. Then the third set of hands that he has are a more relaxed kind of hand if you want to keep him in the side, or he's just kind of looking at his hands, just kind of like I have him pose. But it's nice to have the variation where he kind of has hands that are just nice and relaxed, and as you can see on the palms, they still have the arc reactors right there. Then as you can see, we have him posed up with the lightning refocuser, and man, this thing looks like a beast when it's all lit up. I'm not sure if you guys are able to capture the light on the LED in his eyes and the chest, as well as a lightning refocuser because of light in the light box, but it looks really nice when you have this thing all set up and put together. Now he comes with this attached to him right out of the box, but if you decide to like take it off and just have him plain, but here's how you will put it back on. You kind of take off this little back panel that he has right there, and as you'll see, there's these 3 import slots. So you're going to take the lightning refocuser and then you're going to attach it right to the back by plugging these 3 pegs right into the back. So you make it snug, make sure you hear a little click, and then once you see it at, boom, there he is, all suited up and ready to go to combat with Thanos. Then we have him here with his energy blades, as well as the last set of hands, which are made to grip these, and these things look dope. I love the translucent blue color that they have kind of going through them, and the paintwork is immaculate on these pieces as well. Then we have the claw blasters, as you guys can see, and this is what they actually call them, and I don't blame it. They literally look like crab or like lobster claws, but the detail and the paintwork on these things is super nice as well. These also light up, but you need AG1 batteries to do so. And then here we have him with the shooting and flying effects coming out of his hands, as well as on the stand. And how you put the stand in, there's a little plate that covers his butt. You just pop that piece off and the stand plugs right into it, making it super secure, so you don't have to worry about this guy falling or the stand losing balance or him tilting forward. Threezero is really good when it comes to making their stands. And here he is if you want to have him all decked out with the claw blaster, the energy blade, the lightning refocuser, everything all lit up. This guy looks like a badass when you have him all suited up and all the accessories put on him. So here's where you put the batteries in for this guy. So for his claw blaster, you just pop open the top right here, take out that screw, and then you'll put in 2 AG1 batteries. So turn it on. Not sure if you guys can see it because of the light, but yeah. So that's how you put that one in, and it's easy. You just goes back on the top, you just line it up. There you go. And then for the figure itself, his chest plate pops right off. And then you take these 2 screws out to bring out this little slide, put 2 AG1 batteries there. And then for the helmet, you know, just around the back of his head, kind of use your fingernail, pop it right off. Another screw right there, put in the AG batteries, the switches at the top. And then the lights turn on. And then it's easy, you just put it back on. Boom. Same with this slots right in. And then for the focus lightning blaster, there's a screw right there. This one takes 3 batteries. So this one takes a little bit more, but that's it. Boom, screw right back in. Then you pop this on his back. Boom, and you hit the middle button to turn it on. That's it. Alright, so here we have some size comparison with other figures from other lines. I don't have many Marvel characters that will change in the future, but at the moment, this is how we look standing next to the Sentinel Spider-Man from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And I think they look pretty good next to each other. I think Iron Man should be taller than Spider-Man. And then here we have him standing next to the SH Figure Arts Ultra Instinct Goku. And man, he makes Goku look tiny by comparison. And then here we have him standing next to another one of Threezero's lines, which is the MDLX Vintage 40th Anniversary Optimus Prime. I'm going to be reviewing this line much more in the future. I collect these guys and they're doing a reissue in July. So expect some more reviews on these characters from the Transformers, because I'm a huge Transformers fan. So just be on the lookout for that in the future. Alright, and there we have it. That was Threezero's DLX 1/12 scale Mark 85 Iron Man. And I just have to say, after everything that went over the review, I'm sure it's not going to be a shocker to you guys, but from the articulation, as you can see, you can pull off the Iron Man pose, the accessories that this guy comes with, the build quality, the paint job, the engineering, which is also the articulation. And for the price point that I got this guy at, I got this guy on Toy Arena for $100. And that's the regular retail price for him if you were to go on the Threezero store, but he's currently sold out there. So I'll leave the link in the description below to Toy Arena if you guys are interested in picking this guy up. You could also get him on Entertainment Earth, but I think they charge $20 over the retail market price. So Toy Arena is your next best option if you want to get him for the actual retail price. But with that said, looking at everything that I just mentioned, and I know it may seem weird, but I usually review Dragon Ball figures, but obviously I'm stepping away from that. So just to kind of keep up with that theme, I'm going to use the Dragon Radar, and using a scale from 1 to 7 using the Dragon Balls, I'm going to give this guy a 6. I think he's great. I think he's a definite must-have. You gotta pick him up. Is he perfect? No. There are obviously some areas where I think could be improved. One I'd have to say is the ankle articulation, but that's not so much the engineering, but it's more so the design of the figure itself. Also, the legs going out to the side when it comes to the thigh area. I know you can make the drop down a bit more, but it still doesn't add that much articulation when it comes to his legs going out sideways. And the only other thing I would say is I just wish they properly painted or had a different set of accessories or alternate head where you kind of had the eyes and the chest piece painted to look like it was lit up, just like the other mini arc reactors that he has around the body, because without it he does look kind of like dead. But that I don't mind, because if you're just having it pose like Tony's suit of armor, then it's not that big of a deal. But honestly, at this point, that's just me nitpicking, because like I said, for the price point, the paint, the engineering, and the build quality of this figure, you're gonna be hard pressed to find anything as good as this for this price point, especially from other lines. So all that alone makes this one of the best Iron Man figures that you can get. With that said, I hope you guys found this review informative. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification to be notified when new reviews are uploaded to the channel. Thank you for stopping by my corner of the internet, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.